welcome back to Brown Podcast. We're living in a world where we're being told to stay consistent, to pursue success, to work hard every time, but no one actually talks about what it does to our minds. And so today we're all talking about mental health in the hustle era. We are all being there. Everyone is being told to hustle. That's correct. And so what I want us to look at is what does it do to our mental stability, what it affects our mental health, and how can we keep our mental stability even when hustling and doing our jobs. So today I have an amazing guest, Mr. Ronald. Do the honors,
Okay, so I'm Risley. I'm a psychology student. I'm a mental health champion.
Yeah.
And an advocate. Yeah.
All right. So, Ronald, what
Risley?
Risley?
Yeah.
All right, Risley. What made you to pursue psychology as a career?
Okay, when you look at the trend, before you pursue any career, you must look at the trend that is in the current world, the current market. Currently, everyone is trying to achieve it. Everyone is doing everything possible to achieve it. And in the course of this, we get challenges in terms of we forget about our mental health, and it gets people, a lot of youth, a lot of young people get themselves in situations where they're overwhelmed. So for us, this is a market that I saw, this is a gap that I saw. That's why I ventured into psychology, and I think it's an amazing field for me.
You mentioned about being overwhelmed. Like personally, as at a personal level, when does a person know I'm overwhelmed when I'm doing a task?
Okay, this thing is kind of the link, because nowadays when you talk about overwhelmed, somebody already thinks of depression, and then there is a contrast between depression and stress. So people confuse what is stress, what is depression, and when do I know I now need to seek help. So this is something that kind of at personal level it fluctuates depending on personalities. So for instance, I may start oversleeping, I sleep a lot, then I think that maybe it's just something, sometimes it's passing by, but my body is trying to tell me you are going beyond where I should be, you are going beyond the limits. Sometimes I start overeating, sometimes I start isolating myself. These are some of the slight details that someone can need to know are now going beyond the limits. Yeah.
So you mentioned about being the difference between a depressed person and a stressed person. Will you care to elaborate for us the difference?
Okay, kind of when we talk of, according to the World Health Organization, we define stress as discomfort, general discomfort. So anything that causes you to have discomfort, whether it is physical, it is psychological, mental, anything that causes discomfort is a stress. But then, stress, when it is not treated, when we don't give detailed attention to stress, for a period of, let me say, 14 days, where stress persists for 14 days without being attended to, it now develops to stage 1 depression. Yeah, so depression is kind of is a stress that has not been attended to for a period of 14 days, and it has now started to develop. So depression has also its stages. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. You've told me something. I didn't actually know there's stages in stress. So, what does stress actually look like in young people today?
Okay, in the age whereby everyone is striving, everyone is grinding themselves 24/7 to make sure they achieve it. People are looking to glorify the business, to glorify the work more than they are, or more than their mental or physical well-being is. Stress comes in like discomfort. Your body is already irritated, it is tired, it's trying to tell you, I'm about to shut down, please take a break. But then, most of us don't get the small things. So stress generally is anything that causes the discomfort that makes the body feel like it's about to shut down. So, yeah. For instance, you are used to waking up at 8, then working up to 4. And then you now introduce a new routine where you work from 5 a.m. to later in the night. Your body is used to the normal one, which gives it break, maybe sometimes another cooler and the rest.
Yeah.
So you have introduced a new routine. So this new routine will trigger the body to try and fight the new routine.
Yeah.
And this one is now what we call stress. Yeah.
But you know, young people today, in the society that we're living in, you know, I've seen a lot of young people who they are pushing themselves to the farthest limit. What's your take on that?
Achievement is good. Achievement is enjoyable. When you achieve, you feel good.
Yeah.
But look at this. You are achieving or you are making someone successful at the extent that you don't care about yourself.
Yeah.
What is the let me say the benefit of struggling too much and then the fruits that you have achieved, you are not going to enjoy them? Because for instance, when you get to depression, you now have to come to a psychologist, psychiatrist, so that you work on your mental well-being. You are going to spend the whole money of the resources you have sourced from that end. So basically, in this age where you have youth, you have young people who are striving to achieve it, there is something that they need to know.
Yeah.
Their body is like a machine, and a machine has its let me say mode of operation.
Sure.
There's a time that it expects to maintain. There is some time that it's just supposed to rest and cool off. Your body also does the same. Your brain works. From the time you wake up, your brain is already up. And currently the screen time, when you wake up at 5 already you are on your screen. You'll be on your screen, you'll be on TikTok, on Facebook until later in the evening. Your mind continues to work throughout the day, throughout the night without getting that rest. So in this age, in this era, young people need to look at ways in which they can let me say maintain their body. I use that term maintain.
So what you're saying is that our bodies, they are like similar to a machine, which sometimes we have their own limits. So how can we maintain our bodies and ensure at the same time we are still working and maintaining our body?
There is something called burnout, and there is something called self-care.
Okay.
So basically, burnout is a situation whereby you have worked, you have overworked yourself, the body is tired, and it gets to a point that it's about to shut. So before you get to burnout, and for us students, most of the time, if we get to this point, let me say that duration during exam, you read until it reaches a point whereby if you continue reading, you're not grasping anything.
For sure.
At workplace, you work until you get bored about everything. Let me say if you are a person, I like graphic design and I like editing. You edit a video until it reaches a point to get just bored with everything. Your body is already communicating to you. So burnout is whereby your body has worked for a consistent period of time without breaks, and it has reached a point it is now demanding to take break. So this is where we come in self-care. Self-care, for instance, you need to take breaks. Every time you get to do some task, when you feel like I've done it enough, let me kind of relax. Take that break. It's very necessary. You'll be more fruitful after that break than consistently continuing with that job. Apart from just taking a break, make sure you don't skip meals. No matter what kind of work you have, no matter the workload, make sure you never skip meals. As long as you have the resources, don't skip meals because of anyone. Sleep is very important. Make sure you sleep well. We talk of 8 hours. You can make it 8 if it is possible, but don't make it below 6. Make sure you sleep well. Make sure during weekend, just get off that stuff that you are doing, that workload. Go out, go visit friends. Don't isolate yourself. Go to the beaches. Just go and visit nature. It is kind of therapeutic. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So how should I know that I'm stressed and not lazy, or I'm avoiding work?
Okay, that is where I've also at one point found myself in this. When I get to do some work, I like doing it until it is through, like I'm through this work so that I can take a break.
Yeah, sure.
But what if I have a work that will consistently go for 3 days? And then laziness comes in whereby you start postponing, procrastinating.
Yeah.
So I think you should have your own personal routine as an individual.
Right.
You know that if I work from 8, at around 12, I'll take a break, go and have some snack, have some food, then I come back at 2. And I'm taking 1 hour break. No matter the workload, no matter the pressure, no matter the deadlines, I have to take this.
Yeah.
But now laziness is whereby you wake up in the morning, you feel tired, you don't want to get that stuff done, and you still, let me say, entertain that your body sometimes just doesn't want to work.
Yes,
You need to force it. But now, on the other side, I'm talking of you need to take breaks. You need to have personal routine. Yeah.
So, based on what you've talked about, I've learned one thing about the mind. The mind is something that you teach it what it's supposed to run. So, what if you teach your mind in a way that this is my system, that I'll be running with it, but it reaches a time that your mind, it's like there's a friction between the system that you want to apply to your mind and what you're running by it. How should I go about that?
Our mind works very funny. It's elastic kind of. It is flexible. In that you can program myself, like I said, like I'm working from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is the only duration I'm working. But then you get to another system that requires or demands more time at work. You have to change your mind drastically to that. It will not shift immediately, but with time, it will become normal to your mind. So this is what happens. You are working for 3 hours, you have now expanded to 6 hours, your mind accommodates it. 12 hours, your mind accommodates it. To 20 hours, your mind will still tend to accommodate it, although it is reaching its limit. But it will teach you that it is accommodating it. Yeah. So that is how the mind works.
So, in the hustle culture that we are into right now, do you think it's damaging the young people, or it's making it worse? What's your opinion on that?
When you look at statistics, the number of people that are getting themselves into mental health challenges is increasing. And what is happening? Most of these people, when you go to the rehabs where we are talking about mental health, serious mental health, leave alone drugs, you'll get graduates, you'll get master students, you'll get professors. It has changed to a point that professionals are now the ones being affected. Why? People are engaging themselves in tasks. They are trying to achieve it by force. They are trying to make it by force. The body tries to accommodate it. The mind tries to accommodate it. But then, human is human. And our system is the difference between your system and another person's system is just a small error. So what is happening is that we as youths, we are trying to push ourselves to the wall. We are trying to achieve it. We are trying to work 24/7 to make sure that work is done, to make sure that that company is productive. And it reaches a point whereby we forget everything about ourselves, about who we are, about other aspects of life. Your life has various aspects, not just one. You have the social aspect, you have the spiritual aspect. Yeah.
So, in all that, when you combine all that stressors and then someone is maybe overwhelmed, what should someone do immediately after I notice that I'm not effective anymore?
The first step is realizing that I'm not normal, I'm not functioning normal. That is the very first step. After realizing this, take a break from everything you're doing. The second part. After realizing, take a break. After taking a break, realizing, identify the stressors. What was that, let me say, that trigger that you introduce into your system that has caused stress. So you have realized, you have taken a break, you have realized the trigger, and then now identify ways to fight these triggers, to counterattack these triggers. If it was working for long hours, then now look for other ways. For instance, here at the coast, we are around the beach. The beach is one of the best natural therapeutic scenes. Just go to the beach, sit at the sun, enjoy the breeze, forget everything, meditate, you get back to yourself. Sometimes just leave that task, go out with friends. If you are a social person, go and just have a nice time. It is not wasting time. Just go and have good time with people. By the end of the day, you have refreshed your mind. When you come back, you are more productive.
We've talked about therapeutic scenes. Not all of us have access to the beaches and all that. Could you elaborate or could you give us some examples of therapeutic scenes that our viewers would consider?
Basically, everywhere there is, let me say, nature. Nature is all over. And nature is one therapeutic scene. So, for example, here in school, when you can't access the beach, or when you are in Marsabit, or when you are elsewhere in the country, you can access somewhere cool, just near, let me say, a forest, like just where you are surrounded by nature, a calm place, away from noise, away from distractors. Sit down, just think about yourself. Think about who you are, think about what you are trying to achieve. Look at yourself, reflect on yourself, just in a cool, natural place away from distraction when you get back. But I'm seeing the countries now developing street gardens, and they're coming up with every town is having a garden just within the city. To ensure that when you get stressed, when you get out of control and feel I'm now getting overwhelmed, you can just go there, just relax. One distractor that we have currently is our phones. You'll go there to relax and then get back to your phone. Have you tried being away from your phone for 10 days?
No.
You should try it. I tried it last year and I think there is something magical. We have a generation whereby we are more dependent on our phones. Our phones are like the ones controlling what we do. You wake up in the morning, you don't even check if you are still alive. You get to your WhatsApp, you get to TikTok.
That's true.
Throughout the day, you'll be with your phone. If your phone goes off, you are stressed more than anything. You may be sick, but you're okay. But when your phone goes off, so one distraction that we have is our phone. Keep the phone away, go to somewhere natural, just enjoy the scene, reflect on yourself.
You said that we've talked about keeping a phone for 10 days. Share your experience about how was it?
Okay, last year I was doing some research and I was somewhere in the class with the Girema people. I was doing some research. So when I went there, I could not access my. It was something I did not plan for it. I just went there to do my research and then I got to a situation whereby there is no electricity, there is no time to charge your phone. So I was forced to keep my phone away. The first day was hectic, terrible. I'm feeling like I'm missing people, like there's an opportunity online that I'm not grasping, like I need to just see what is happening around me. The second day, we started shifting. By the time I reached the third day, I did not know even where my phone was. And then when it reached the seventh day, I developed some kind of peace, some inner peace that I've not experienced before. I was feeling like I'm just now relaxed, I'm disconnected from the rest of the world. This phone is a stress, it gives you a burden, you carry burden of many people, you carry burden of many activities. So by the time I reached the seventh day, I was very cool without my phone, I was very okay, I was at peace. And when I came back from that, I remember even that time that the former prime minister died. I got the news 3 days later. But then, what happens? I realized something. When you just disconnect yourself from the world sometimes, it is necessary. It brings you some peace. From that day, nowadays I can use my phone for 3 hours a day. If there is not that task that demands me to be on the phone, be on the computer, I'll leave them and do what I can do manually.
That's amazing. I don't know if I can be away from my phone for like more than an hour.
And that is the challenge you're having. And many people don't realize, they don't realize like the phone brings some kind of stress until you disconnect from it and experience the other side of life. Then you now realize the burden you are carrying with that phone that you don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
You should try that one. You see the effect.
Yeah, I'll see about that. Wow. You've talked about the social media because having a phone is one thing, and the aspect of social media is coming. There's technology and all that. What's your take about that, and in the mental health, and what is doing to our mental stability at large?
Technology is good. Technology makes one more easier to handle, and it increases human capacity and productivity.
For sure, that's true.
But what happens whereby, for instance, nowadays I can chat using my Gemini or ChatGPT for like 4 hours. I'm trying to brainstorm on some kind of an idea. I'm trying to develop something.
Yeah, sure.
If I could just leave that phone alone, just structure something on paper, bring it to that ChatGPT, what I've already structured, it will take like, let me say 10 minutes, I'm done with the whole thing. But what is happening? We are more dependent on technology than ourselves. Nowadays, for now, if an employer, the other day I was called and was told to write an application letter for some kind of job. I tried to restructure it using my own English, which I was using in high school. It is not coming up. I had to now go to AI, develop a letter before sending to that employer.
For sure.
So what is happening? We are degrading our mental capability. We are not making our minds think. We are not making our minds grow. You know, when you are in high school, for instance, from 1 you learn how to do a very good composition.
That's true.
From 2 you start developing it. From 3 you have learned from your mistakes. You have seen some pieces of articles from other people, and you develop your mind. By the time you reach Form 4, you can develop your own in a good structure that you trust. You purely trust. But what happens after you finish Form 4? You are introduced to ChatGPT, to Gemini, to other OpenAI. Nowadays we depend everything, assignments, even as small tasks. Yesterday you invited me to this podcast.
For sure.
The first place I went to was AI. Okay, what are some of the possible areas that maybe I can touch on? So what is that going to do? My natural thinking, the knowledge I have gained over the years, I'm not now using it. I'm going to look at AI and use what AI is doing. So it is damaging us within the long term. We are not realizing it, but it is damaging us because if we get more dependent on technology, then what about our own human being capability?
Wow. You've mentioned something interesting on the long-term capability of the artificial intelligence, what it's doing to our actual mind. And it has opened my mind in one way. We are trying to look at the easiest way and the most convenient way to handle our issues, but not considering what it's doing in the long-term effect. That's interesting.
You know, alcohol is not bad.
Sure.
But what happens? When you take alcohol, 1 sip today, 2 sips tomorrow, the other day you need to take another sip, and then it gets your system, your system becomes dependent on alcohol. Maybe if you are not taking alcohol, energy drinks.
Sure.
These energy drinks, you will take one bottle today. You feel okay, so if I'm tired, I need to work, I can take 1 bottle of energy drink. Then in the next coming days, even if you are not tired, you want to do some work, your mind already thinks, okay, if I want to do this thing more effectively, let me take 1 bottle of energy drink. But what happens in the long term? You now depend totally on this energy drink for you to be productive. That is the same thing with AI and technology. They are good if they are used in a way that we also develop ourselves, we open our thinking capacity. Brainstorming using these features are good. But after you individually has structured something, has tried to think or develop something within you, then it becomes super good.
So basically what you're saying is that it should comprehend, no, not comprehend, it should add to what we know, so that we maximize the output.
Yeah, technology complements what we already have. If it becomes dependent, then now we are not losing the but we are losing the focus.
That's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. So, because we were talking about the hustle culture right now, and according to you, is the hustle culture making people succeed? And what are some of the alternative ways that we can use to make it? If it's yes, if it's no, what are some of the alternative ways that we can use to make the hustle culture become more profitable to us, both in our mental state and at large?
We are succeeding, and we are succeeding by a big margin. But what is happening?
Okay.
We are succeeding, and the resources we are, let me say, getting from that success, we are using them in the hospitals. That is what is happening. If it's not in the hospital, these people we are wasting youth that will be very important or very valuable in the coming years.
Yeah.
So I believe the hustle culture is good. The hustle culture is making us succeed, but we should find ways to ensure that the hustle culture does not damage our inner being, does not damage our mental capabilities, so that we become productive, but at the end of the day, we are safe.
So, according to you, will you elaborate to us the meaning of success or succeeding?
Succeeding, when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, success is reaching a point where you are fulfilled. You feel I've achieved everything that I was to achieve. I'm now like in a society setup, like you are now valuable. That is what success is. We start with the basic like food, like shelter, like clothing, like security. But when it reaches a point, you have developed your connection, you have resources, you have food, then it reaches a point at the peak where you are now fulfilled. That is success. And when you look at the population, a very small percentage of the population, let me say less than 5%, reaches self-fulfillment. Most of the majority of us are at the base of the pyramid, trying to fight for security, trying to fight for food, for shelter. So success in my own one is reaching a point where you are fulfilled, both physically, mentally, spiritually. You feel I'm now okay.
That's amazing. Like you've reached the self-actualization. Wow, that's interesting. So if someone listening right now feels overwhelmed and stuck, amefika at that point in life where, nothing is moving in my life, what's one word that you will give that person?
Getting stuck is good, and realizing you're stuck is the other better part. Many people get stuck, they don't realize I'm stuck. So after getting stuck, then what should you do next? That is the important part now. I've realized I'm stuck. How am I going to get myself out of this mess? That is the most important part now. How are you going to collect yourself? How are you going to rebuild yourself to ensure that out of that place that you're stuck, you become, let me say, self-reliant, you become more productive, so that by the time you unstuck yourself, you are more productive.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Give us some words of encouragement, to keep us moving.
Okay, basically, according to the current world, every youth, every young person is trying to achieve, and they are trying everything possible to make sure they achieve. There is a lot of pressure on social media, there is a lot of pressure in the society, but we should try to figure out, in the ways that we try to achieve, are we safe as a society? What about our mental health? What about our physical health? How do we practice self-care? How do we ensure that we don't get ourselves stuck? That is the most important part. Let us continue pushing, let us continue making sure that we are productive in every place that we are, but ensuring we are safe first.
Thank you so much, Risley. That has been one of the most educative sessions I've had since I've been at this podcast.
Thank you. And you're doing an amazing job. I believe our mental health comes first, and she's what drives us to achieve what we want to achieve.
That's true.
So by first putting that effort to ensure that the youth, the young people out there get this kind of information, kudos and keep on.
Thank you so much. And we'll like to have you so much as many times as possible. We'll schedule that, and I'm looking forward to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Hello, family. Mental state. It's your machine. That's what. It's your engine that keeps you moving. If you want to succeed in life, or at whatever aspect of life that you're into right now, you need to consider the type of fuel that you're putting into your engine. So with this session, I'd love you to hear it, keep a thought in it, and consider what you want with your life at large. And that's all, Manze. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.